Hello, children. In the last class, we have started the chapter 3 and we have completed many topics. That is Newton's first law of motion, second law of motion, third law of motion is basic proof, and we have seen that how they are interrelated and how this Newton's second law of motion is most important. Newton's second law of motion is most important for us because we can get the Newton's first law and the third law from that one itself, that is F equals to ma. Now we will start a new topic, that is gravitation. In that chapter only, that is in chapter 3, gravitation. Regarding the gravitation, regarding the electrification, regarding the force due to a charged particles and force due to two masses, we have discussed many things in the previous topics also, that is related to that topic only here also. So first, here is universal law of gravitation. What is universal law of gravitation? That is a very simple topic. Just you listen here. Universal law of gravitation. If two masses are kept at a finite distance apart, then according to the law of gravitation, universal law of gravitation, the force of gravitation, that is force of gravitation, is directly proportional force of gravitation is directly proportional, that force between the two particles, you can say the force between the two particles or the two masses is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, So below here you see F is directly proportional to m1 m2, inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Here R is the distance between the two masses m1 and m2. So we have combined it and we have got F is proportional to m1 m2 upon R square. And we know that it is very basic that to remove the proportionality sign, we have to take one constant, and here that constant we have taken it as G. That is known as the universal gravitational constant, and its value is, I have told you previously also, 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. So it is just a very simple topic. So direction of this force, here you can see the direction of this force, F12 is towards the particle 2 and the direction of F21 is towards the particle 2 and F12 towards the particle 1. So in this way we can just classify the forces, that is they are equal and opposite forces. So if we are taking here F equals to G m1 m2 upon R square, here we are taking mass 1 kilogram, standard mass we are taking 1 kilogram, m1 equals to m2 equals to 1 kilogram, and distance we are considering 1 meter. So for defining everything we are taking unity. So here also we are taking unity. So this force of attraction between the two masses is equals to the universal gravitational constant if mass is 1 kilogram and the separation between the two masses of 1 kilogram is 1 meter. So gravitational constant G is numerically equal to the magnitude of the gravitational force of attraction between two masses each of 1 kilogram separated by a finite distance 1 meter apart. If two masses are separated by 1 meter apart, and those two masses are of just 1 kg, then that capital G is equals to the force of attraction. So in that way we can define this universal gravitational constant. So we can get its value also. So gravitational constant G is numerically equal to the magnitude of the gravitational force of attraction between the two masses each of 1 kilogram separated by a distance of 1 meter apart. So mass of the moon, it is standard. Mass of the earth is also standard. Distance of the moon from the earth, it is also standard. So this, if gravitational force we are calculating, then we are getting 2 into 10 raised to the power 20 Newton. That is the gravitational force we are getting, 2 into 10 raised to the power 20 Newton. So characteristics of the gravitational force. Earlier also we have seen that it is a long range force. While the electrical and the magnetic forces we have seen, it is a short range force. It is always attractive. While electrical forces previously we have seen that they may be attractive or they may be repulsive, but here it is always attractive. It is a weak force It is directly proportional to the product of the masses. It is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two bodies. Same. From the definition itself it is clear. F equals to G m1 m2 upon r square. It is significant for the heavenly bodies and is insignificant for the ordinary bodies. So it is not practical for the ordinary bodies. So this Newton's law explains the motion of the planets around the sun and the moon of natural satellite around the earth. Next one is force due to gravity. So this capital G and small g, there is a lot of difference between this capital G and small g. This capital G is universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant. Capital G is universal gravitational constant. And this small g is acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. So force due to gravity. It is the force per unit mass by which Earth attracts different bodies towards the center. So suppose unit mass object we are taking and mass of the Earth is standard, that is me. So F equals to G m1 into m2, that is mass of the Earth into m, the standard mass, upon re square. So standard mass if it is 1, then we can get F equals to G me upon re square. G me upon re square. That is force per unit mass. Force per unit mass is G me upon re square. So G we are knowing its value is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11, as you can see. Mass of the Earth is standard, that is nearly 6 into 10 to the power 24 we used to take. Radius of the Earth, that is also standard. These things if we are keeping here, then we are getting this 9.8 Newton per kilogram. This force we are getting it as, that is gravitational force, we are getting 9.8 Newton per kilogram. That's why we are taking the acceleration due to gravity as 9.8 meter per second square. Next one is acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. So it is very simple. This equation we have seen for the force. Force equals to G MEM upon RE square. Just you focus on this equation. This equation G MEM upon RE square. What is MEM? That is M1 M2. First standard mass we are taking of the Earth. One mass that is under assumption, that is small m. So G MEM upon RE square. RE is the distance of that mass from the center of the Earth. Okay. F equals to mg, that we can take it as weight of the body. So just we will equate this mg with this equation, then we will get the value of small g. That means here mm will be cancelled out. G equals to gme upon re square. Small g equals to gme upon re square. Therefore it is clear that acceleration due to gravity is independent of the mass of the body and depends on the mass of the planet and its radius. So it does not depend upon the mass of the body, acceleration due to gravity. So here acceleration due to gravity, after calculation we will get 9.8 meter per second square. Acceleration due to gravity on the surface of the moon, near about 1/6 of 9.8. Near about 1/6 of 9.8, that is 1.6 meter per second square. So acceleration due to gravity on the moon is 1.6 of the acceleration due to gravity on the Earth. So these are there that you have to learn. So dear children, now the topic is free fall. When the body is freely falling under the acceleration due to gravity. These concepts little bit we have studied in the previous chapters also. When anything is falling downside, then acceleration due to gravity we are considering it as positive, that is plus g we are taking. If anything we are just throwing it upside, then acceleration due to gravity we are taking it as negative. Okay, so here when we are making anything to fall from a particular height, then we will take acceleration due to gravity as positive, that is plus g. Okay, so equation of motion in case of free fall. You all are knowing that v equals to u plus at. You have studied in the previous chapters. Uniformly accelerated motion equation, that is v equals to u plus at, s equals to ut plus half at square, v square minus u square equals to 2as. That is same equation. So here if we are considering acceleration due to gravity, then we can write v equals to u plus gt. Instead of a we are taking g. Instead of acceleration due to gravity, linear acceleration, we are taking the acceleration due to gravity. So v equals to u plus gt we can write. Here since the initial velocity is 0, the body is at rest initially, then it is dropped. So u is 0, so v equals to gt. V equals to gt. or u equals to half gt square. All the three equations can be changed in this form. V square minus u square equals to 2gh, we can write. So u is 0, so here also we will get v square equals to 2gh. And when body is thrown upwards, then u minus gt, ut minus half gt square, u square minus 2gh. So these are the equations. So these are very simple equations that we have seen earlier also. So you have to remember only one thing, that it is a Newton's equation of motion for a uniformly accelerated motion. Then you can substitute the various values and you can get the equation. Okay, v equals to u plus at, s equals to ut plus half at square, v square minus u square equals to 2as. Here instead of a we have taken g, instead of a we have taken g, and when the body is falling then we are taking g as positive, when the body is thrown then we are taking g as negative. Okay, so in this respective equation, at the highest point, suppose you are throwing from the downside, at the highest point the body will stop at some particular point, so final velocity will become 0, final velocity will become 0. So we can write v square equals to u square minus 2gh. So v square equals to 0, so we can write u square equals to 2gh, u square equals to 2gh, or you can get u equals to under root of 2gh, u equals to under root of 2gh, or from the first equation itself you can get u equals to gt, v equals to u minus gt, so you can get u equals to gt, so t equals to u by g, t equals to u by g. It is a time, so total time period here t equals to 2t, because if you are throwing something that will come down also, so we are taking it as 2t, so 2t means 2u upon g. Okay, so we got time period as 2u upon g for the particle which is thrown vertically upward. These equations will be used in the numericals. So a particle which is thrown vertically upwards, its time period, total time period equals to 2u upon g, 2u upon g, and the initial velocity with which an object is thrown, that is under root 2gh, under root 2gh, and the maximum height at which it will reach, that is h max, that is equals to u square upon 2g. So it is very simple, just you have to substitute the values. Once you try it, you will get all these three equations. So we got time period 2u upon g, we got initial velocity with which the body is projected upwards, that is under root 2gh, and maximum height, that is equals to u square upon 2g. Just we have substituted what? V equals to 0, that is final velocity equals to 0. Now mass and weight. Mass and weight, you are very much clear about mass and weight. Previously also I have told you many times. Mass is the total amount of matter that is contained in a body. Weight is when it is multiplied with g, that is acceleration due to gravity. So the mass of a body is the quantity of matter it contains, and it is closely associated with the inertia of the body, and it remains constant when velocity of the body is lesser than the velocity of the light. So always the velocity of the body is lesser than the velocity of light, because velocity of light is too high, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So we cannot take the velocity as higher as light. In some cases we will take, that we will study in higher classes. The weight of a body is in fact force of attraction of the earth on a body. It is a vector quantity and its direction is towards the center of the earth. Unit of weight is Newton. Unit of weight is Newton in SI system, and in CGS system unit of weight is dyne. That we have seen, 1 Newton equals to 10 raised to the power 5 dyne. 1 Newton equals to 10 raised to the power 5 dyne. Now relation between weight and mass. Relation between weight and mass. So weight equals to mg. Weight equals to mg. So weight we are denoting it by kilogram force, that is equals to 9.8 Newton, and gram force equals to 980 dyne. 980 dyne. So in kilogram force and gram force, if you are multiplying with this acceleration due to gravity, then you are getting this in terms of Newton and dyne. In terms of Newton and dyne. So these are the respective terms, relation between weight and mass. Relation between weight and mass. Now comparison between mass and weight. So mass is a scalar and weight is a vector. The unit of mass is kg and unit of weight is Newton. Mass is measured by physical or beam balance and weight is measured by spring balance. Mass remains constant and weight changes place to place on the earth. Mass, it is measurement of the quantity of the matter contained in a body, and weight, it is the force acting by the earth on the body. So these are the basic differences between mass and weight. Basic difference between mass and weight. So now you practice the numericals based on these formulas which we have discussed. The formulas which we have discussed. So now children, your third chapter is also completed. Okay, your third chapter is also completed. So when we will meet, we will discuss the numericals and this fourth chapter, pressure in fluids, we will start afterwards. So thank you children.